Like, yeah, we gotta go live now. Um, I said both of my jobs require me to wear gloves, and they got my nails fucked up. And they was like, you was lost for a minute cleaning your nails. Cause I keep trying to fix them, but it's not fixy, and I just broke another one. They're like raggedy. Look at that. Look at that. What is that? What is that? So what I told them is usually my nails are long, but my jobs keep having my nails fucked up because I wash and sanitize frequently as other people there and food around me. And I don't play about germs, honey. One thing about mature people, they do not play about their food. Motherfuckers who acquired a taste and elevated their class in life to have personal preference on how their comfortability or when they eat or relax or do something. Um, I don't know what the fuck wrong with this. It's almost like it's not even streaming because I don't see the timer. I don't see the timer counting. Hold on. Can y'all see me like this? Is this annoying or no? Or y'all could see me just fine? Yeah? Hello, I need more money than that if you guys want to go premium. Um, a lot more. Let's do this. Let's go back to the light. And let's do a timestamp. I don't see the timer going though on my live. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hear the notification that I'm live. Hold on. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We was talking to Tag Dap and Tango app about my nails being raggedy as fuck from work. That they're usually long, but if I do like this, you don't see any nails. And then my pinky don't match. And also, how you gonna sniff cocaine with nails like this? Pinky nail like this? How are you gonna reach the booger in your nostril that's way up there next to your eye socket and shit with these little ass nails? Then somebody said, how you gonna scratch your ass? But I don't think you would scratch your ass with a pinky nail. I would just scratch it with the whole hand. I don't know what the fuck they doing in the smoking lounge besides boring me to death. But we not finna be kicking it in there all day. Y'all ready? What's up, everybody? It is time. It is time. Overtime. We are filled with the passions of love. I'm only gonna podcast for an hour today. We're supposed to do 1 to 3 hours, actually. But my schedules are not permitting me to arrange on my podcast to the time and convenience to prepare to podcast for no 1 to 3 hours. So let's do this. Let's do a timestamp and an intro. Let's do it. Y'all ready? It is 6:37 a.m. here on the West Coast, Northern California, Stockton, California to be exact, baby. My name is, excuse me, Cherry Franklin. This is the Cherry Franklin Show. Can't even catch my breath this morning or clear my throat. We're about to roll up and get into a session again. Yeah, we get on here every day to say this. Please visit change.org and vote.org to make a difference in your city and state. We're about to check the news here in just a moment about the forced stimulus check and other things going on in our government, in our country, as well as tap into the last of this medicinal GMO strand. Okay. Please visit change.org. Sign the petitions for the forced stimulus check in the month of $2,000, calling for a monthly stimulus payment program for adult taxpayers and head of households. Also, the Justice for the Say Their Names hashtags. This one is important. Justice for George Floyd, justice for Ahmaud Arbery, justice for Breonna Taylor, justice for Vanessa Gillen, justice for Elijah McClain, justice for Ma'Khia Bryant, and justice for Adam Toledo. Unarmed Black people, minorities, and minors shot and killed by the police. Y'all, please remember, under the George Floyd Justice Act of 2020, we can start and sign petitions that demand the state attorney general to have internal affairs investigate unfair practices involving and resulting in the death of minorities by the police. Again, that website is change.org. Go sign the freaking petitions. If you're not going to hire a lawyer to protect your city and your state, sign the petitions for the people who are trying to set the standard and rewrite the laws so that police do not just kill us off and treat us like we're expendable. We're not expendable. We're human resources, taxpayers, lower working class economy here in the U.S. We're human beings. We the people. We're not expendable. Also, the other website is vote.org. Vote.org to register to vote and find out what you can vote on. Legalizing businesses, the amounts of business licenses for different industries in your city, in your county. After school programs, social distance learning, free lunches, educational transportation. Okay, as well as the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, homeless shelters, public housing, public transportation, free healthcare clinics, Planned Parenthoods, politicians running for office, propositions being written into bills and laws for you to vote on. Like when they were voting on Uber, whether they could stay full-time, stay part-time and independent, or will they have to work full-time like a regular job? Okay. Prop 10, rent control. Prop 22. Okay, Prop 17, these types of things we need to research and find out what, if we vote yes, what happens, and if we vote no, what happens. These are very important. Y'all, please visit vote.org and do your research for your city, your county, and your state. What else? What else? What else, honey? What else? If you are low on funds or low on health insurance, please visit mdsave.com, as in Dr. MD, and save you some money. That is mdsave.com for online vouchers and underground coupons for medical and hospital needs and procedures facilities in your state and neighboring states. Yeah, these are important. Please pay attention. Got some more weed here. A little bit of shaky shake from the husband that I hate very much. I really hate him. So we're not going to smoke that. We're going to smoke the medicinal GMO. Once again, What is you smoking? Y'all, let me know what flavors are popular in your area. What is brand spanking new and what is the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. What flavors not to get? Make sure y'all leave it all in the comments if you are joining this smoke session. Good morning, everyone. 6:44 a.m. here on the West Coast. Northern California, Stockton, California to be exact. Again, I am smoking today in a regular Swisher Sweet. This is my brand of cigar. I do not like anything else. Regular Swishers, okay? We are smoking the brand, the strain that is called GMO. It is indica, pure indica. You're looking at 22.5% THC, 23.8, almost 24% of active cannabinoids, and CBD is at 0.15%. So you're looking at about a good 25 to 30% of medically active ingredients here in this flower. I don't know what's wrong with the tag camera. It's as if you guys cannot see or read. So we're just going to start rolling up. We got a couple things to look at today, honey. We do want to know about the fourth stimulus check. We do want to know what the hell do they got going on with our money. We also want to know what's going on in our economy. What's going on in the news. So before we get to the stimulus check, I want to share a couple things that's not good news. It's important for us to be aware of and know where we need to send our reasoning and otherwise. Okay? So y'all, please pay attention as we roll the blend.
Good morning, Chris Childers, Operations Section Chief with California Interagency Incident Management Team 1, and I'm also a local Santa Barbara County Battalion Chief, so I have a lot of home interest here. Let's talk about the Asylum fire. We're having some good luck. We've had a lot of hard work done by a lot of firefighters, and the aircraft has been a huge help. We've got 15 or more aircraft on the fire, including some that can drop at night.
Now, currently, right now, there are several fires burning in the state of California. A lot of y'all know already about the very popular Lake Tahoe fires that canceled a lot of travel and airplanes out of Reno and Lake Tahoe.
I told you about it, very strong and hard to the east with a northwesterly wind flow. The next 2 nights, the wind came from the northeast and burned fire to the west, and that's how we got the fire so far towards Gaviota. Since then, we've been able to control the top on Camino Cielo with direct line and some firing, and then some direct hand line all the way around to the east side of the fire, where we tie into the younger fuels of the 5-year-old burn scar from the Sherpa fire. You notice we have direct line that's very secure all the way around until it gets into really steep country. So we have some unopened areas that we're going to be monitoring and keeping an eye on and trying to put people in as best we can safely. Then we have direct line around the bottom of the fire through Division Juliet, along the Pacific fuel break that we joke about because the Pacific Ocean has always helped so far. And then we used 101, and it's completely cold, so that's why we were able to reopen the Highway 101 the other day. You see we have some hand line and some direct dozer line constructed out towards Gaviota, all holding very well. Then we have it in the rocks and in the cliffs again, so we don't have it lined, but it's pretty much out in the rest of the division.
They're talking about putting out the fires in California where they're at.
Corner of heat, where we had some spot fires and some activity yesterday. This is old decadent fuels that hasn't burned since the 1955 Refugio fire, and so it's going to continue to have some heat in it, and it's not very clean burn, so it's going to be hot, but that's our concentration today. That's our priority number one. We're going to knock this out, and that should do a really good job of putting this fire to bed in the next couple of days. And I will keep you updated, so thank you for listening.
And now, that matters because a lot of our highways and firemen and volunteers in this state end up getting spread out and wear thin, and our resources get used up.
That's it. It's sealed and confirmed. On Wednesday, we got.
And, just opportunities for us to travel and opportunities for our volunteers to be working on their unemployment, be spending time with their family, being protected from COVID and things like that. It's just a lot of things that we need to consider. Let's continue on with the news. We got a little commentary. It's only 2 minutes on inflation.
It's sealed and confirmed. On Wednesday, we got real proof that the Fed admits that it was wrong when it comes to inflation and interest. Now, there are two factors that they're at last, after almost a year, coming to terms with. Transitory inflation will be with us longer than we thought, which means more supply chain issues, prices keep going up, and some more craziness in the supermarkets. Sticky inflation is going to be the norm. In other words, inflation has landed and no one's debating and arguing with this anymore. This has utterly changed the investment world, and it's a big indicator that commodities and specifically gold are on the runway ready to take flight. In other words, not only is inflation hot, which many of us have been talking about for almost an entire year, but now the largest buyer of assets in the world, Wall Street, and our central bank agree. Therefore, I'm going for the kill. Nothing moves up so fast and dramatically as gold stocks. So we put together information on it as the one with the best risk-reward potential, and I can see it certain. Check out our report at wealthresearch.com/gold. Now, supply chain constraints remain a major crisis and will not be letting up anytime soon. The healthcare crisis causes millions of people to simply retire early because of the unprecedented fiscal and monetary response. We are not going back to a pre-COVID world, and what CEOs are telling us right now is that they haven't even passed the majority of the cost to consumers yet. The gold stock sector is small, yet the amount of money looking at gold mines will be enormous. Ultimately, mining, ticker symbol ATLYF, trades on all of the traditional brokerages like Fidelity, Schwab, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers, and others. My number one gold move right now of them all.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing stocks.
And here are 3 reasons why.
Even people who don't give a fuck about investing and saving and creating savings accounts. Yeah, stocks is almost like a savings account in which you could win or lose money, depending on the economy. This is why you need to buy shares of companies that you believe will grow regularly over a long period of time.
Take a look at the chart. Huge expansion imminent. I just showed why ultimately mining, ticker symbol ATLYF, which you can become a shareholder of through Schwab, Fidelity, Scottrade, E-Trade, Vanguard, and any of the other traditional brokers. It's not only the cheapest of its peers, but it has 3 major catalysts dead ahead. This is my personal number one pick at the moment. Go to wealthresearch.com/gold now to learn everything about altcoin mining.
Okay, so they're saying that government's blaming us for inflation as if we didn't know that. Government blames us for everything, except that we're their boss that pays them the money for them to have a fucking job. And I really feel like that should have been the first fucking thing that they gave a fuck about. Something else going on, some shit going on in Haiti.
Mary runs a growing 3 clicks, Mary is able to connect your online store to AdRoll. And right away, we take all the items in her store and create dozens of dynamic ad templates for her to choose from. Then we place her brand front and center across 500 ad networks, including Google, Facebook, and Instagram. With AdRoll, Mary is completely in the driver's seat and controls all her marketing from one dashboard, saving her time and money while growing her business.
Tonight, with the desperate concerns for the kidnapped American aid workers in Haiti, we're learning more about the men and women as well as the notorious gang believed to be holding them hostage. The 16 Americans and a Canadian are all part of an Ohio-based Christian aid organization. They were on a trip to visit an orphanage outside of Port-au-Prince. Among those taken, 5 are children. Violent gangs have taken further control of the region in the wake of the country's recent unrest following the assassination of Haiti's president. The nation is, of course, still struggling as well after the massive earthquake in August that killed thousands. ABC's Phil Lippert leads us off tonight from outside the Haitian consulate here in New York.
Really quick, y'all, our weed is light green with dark greens.
Were kidnapped overnight by a gang in Haiti. The Haitian government saying they suspect the 400 Mowozo gang is responsible. Ohio-based Christian Aid Ministries confirming that among the missionaries were 16 Americans and 1 Canadian, 5 of them children, all on their way back from a visit to an orphanage. The State Department saying it's aware of the kidnapping reports and that the welfare and safety of U.S. citizens abroad is one of the highest priorities of the Department of State.
First few hours are very critical in
You the one that this government makes it not cool for us to travel and be tourists in other places.
In negotiating the release of a U.S.
Capitalism makes it not cool.
Haitian gangs have
democracy makes it not cool.
Since the early 2000s, if not before that. Their intent is to make money. They are doing these kidnappings for ransom, for money. No politics are involved. It's not terrorism. Their goal is to make as much money as they can from the hostage taking.
Haiti has faced a number of crises in recent months. The president there assassinated in July. In August, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake killed more than 2,200 people and destroyed more than 50,000 homes, all contributing to a rise in gang violence now plaguing the country. By some estimates, gangs now control roughly half of the capital city of Port-au-Prince.
Quite an increase in violence there. Phil Lipoff joins us now from outside the Haitian consulate. And Phil, it seems that there's this correlation between more gangs in Haiti and this surge in kidnappings.
Yeah, pretty significant one, Lindsay. A Haitian human rights organization tells us it's been a sharp increase in kidnappings this year, more than 600 so far, 117 last month alone. And a Haitian presidential source has told us there have been no demands made by that suspected gang in this kidnapping. However, also tonight, the whereabouts of the 17 kidnapped remain unknown. Lindsay.
Phil, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
Scary. All right, they said missionaries were kidnapped and being held for ransom in the country of Haiti, in its capital, actually, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Haitian Islands. I just got a couple more things really quick, and I understand that a lot of y'all don't know, just like I don't know a whole lot of history about the Black Panther Party, but I want y'all to know this, that the Black Panther Military Party of Oakland, California, that was founded in 1966, was the birth of a revolutionary movement for welfare and almost like politics, okay, for minorities, persons of color, brown people in the Black community, from Latinos to Asians, everybody. If you don't know, 1965, just 1 year before the Black Panther Party was founded, the Chinese, the Asians, got some type of immigration rights law passed by the United States. Basically, if you look at history and the types of laws that had to have been passed, you can easily see that it's not foreign policy, it's other races, foreign races in America that they have these policies for. And I understand that you want to give asylum to those fleeing war and crime in a dangerous country. And I understand that you don't want anybody coming to this country. But here's the thing. You have foreigners that come here and somehow own businesses and buildings and shops and things like that, while you make it hard for white and Black people that are here getting educations, and or Americans of other cultures as well, of other national origin as well, that are actually completely American, that grew up here, went to school here, work here, and pay taxes here and everything. You have these Americans here who you deny the ability to legally open and run their business. And that is not right. Not only is it not right, but it puts other races and other cultures and other foreigners and other agendas before the American dream. If you're going to have asylum, or if you're going to allow immigration and things like that, which I believe you should, because this country was founded by foreigners, not Native Americans, okay? Which I believe you should deal with other races and cultures and other nationalities and other national origins, and foreigners. You should give them the type of education and the type of resources and welfare that you give regular people. It's just simply not fair for us to have to go to school until we're 18 and not qualify for any type of funding for higher education until we're age 24 or higher and poor, okay? And, people who don't even speak English well or even care about education or paying taxes or voting are here controlling a lot of the job opportunities and commerce in our communities. Anyway, I'm not a hater. I'm not gonna down talk and discourage supporting foreign-owned businesses. However, what I will say is this: you could very much so support your own or your friend or your family member's business before you support somebody else that you don't know, and help normalize amateur professionals, oxymoron, amateur business owners, amateur entrepreneurs. Normalize validating and crediting these Americans who have already put in the work and learned the language and won the awards and live in the neighborhood. We got a lot of stuff going on with war in the Middle East. There's always war for oil. The wall separating the U.S.-Mexico border. They said cartel members were posted at the wall mocking the United States of America with their guns freely out in the open. The cartel has always found a way to make it into a country, regardless of what type of barriers you may have put in place. I agree the wall created jobs, but is it effective? I don't know. If they're beating people who are incarcerated, if they're denying entry to real families who are really seeking asylum, if they're separating children from their families, there's just a lot going on morally that's not right. And you have to remember that the whole point of the wall is to protect this country. Well, what's the point of protecting a country that doesn't even work right? It's not worth protecting. Puts other people and other families and their children in danger. You just have to think about things like this when you're giving the United States of America, telling them how to think and feel and telling them how to protect themselves. When, as if you guys do anything to protect us, right? So, long story short, foreign policy. We got a lot of stuff going on with other countries, a lot of travel requirements and vaccinations required and things like that. You guys, there's immigrants and green card workers getting very, very wealthy, doing labor jobs that felons cannot get hired for or frowned upon, won't get hired at. Or young people or women, okay? Or black people for racially discriminative jobs. that will not offer those positions to a woman or a black person. Anyway, we need to be focusing on empowering and supporting our own. And that's one of the things that the Black Panthers was about, especially in Oakland, California. So the next clip we're going to watch is Minister Farrakhan. Just talking basically about his beliefs and his opinions.
Still looking for new traffic sources? It's time to try Taboola native ads. Reach up to 500 million daily active users. Grow your performance and ROI. Full transparency. Taboola. Press start. We'll take care of the rest.
I remember years ago, you couldn't see.
Y'all join this smoke session if you have not already.
Today,
rolled a blunt, made a drink, a cup of coffee, a sandwich, or fired up a square. Whatever it is you do,
our community,
do it now and join the smoke session.
They didn't parade themselves before the world. They would hide it because the average person would not countenance homosexuality or lesbianism. But look at Hollywood, how it promotes it. Look at how cross-dressing is being advised. And many great Black strong men have been asked to put on women's clothes. For what? They're selling a thought to Black people that it's all right to be other than yourself. You remember when I spoke of Medea, I never saw Brother Tyler Perry as a man that was promoting cross-dressing. I saw him promoting Medea, that great woman in the life of Black people. Of course, it was done in a comic way, but nevertheless, the scriptures of the Bible teach against women dressing like men, and it teaches against men dressing like women. And even in the Old Testament, the punishment for so doing was death under the law of Moses. Hollywood, you all know the Torah. You know what God has said, but you are promoting evil. You are promoting that which is against the will and the way of God, and you're doing it purposely. Not so much for your people, but you know that we are to receive the kingdom man. After God takes it from you, and you hate the fact that our rule is going to come whether you like it or not. The kingdom will be taken from you and given to this rejected stone, this Black man that God has chosen to be his.
They have mentioned so often about blackface
that we can eat, all the debauchery
and the cartoon images.
So you are now bringing the privacy
from slavery
into
that would represent a Black person in a mocking way
magazines,
after slavery.
Newspapers, it's all about sex. Titillating the people
how Betty Boop
America, particularly
was actually a Black woman. They used her for entertainment and claimed she was white.
That they can see
misrepresented her to the entire world and all of history.
And it's very difficult for parents even to close their children off from the filth that is abounding in the society, even down to cartoons. You are promoting that which is against the will and commandments of God. You're promoting lying. You're promoting stealing. You're promoting cross-dressing. You're promoting lesbianism and homosexuality. You are doing this purposely. And the scripture says Satan has made evil fair seeming to the people. So we are so confused today. We think it's all right because the scripture says God is love. And I'm in love, and love has to be right because love is of God. See how you have deceived yourself. And now you will be angry with me and say, oh, Farrakhan, you're homophobic. You hate gay people and lesbians. That's false. I'm in love with my people. I'm in love with you regardless of how you present yourself. I have never disrespected you. I have had teachers of my violin that are gay. I never disrespected them, nor did they disrespect themselves in my presence. I was educated by a gay person in Detroit because I spoke ugly about lesbianism and homosexuality, and he was hurt. And when I came to Detroit, he asked to see me. And I remember his listening to my lecture, and he came to the private quarters that I had, and I let him in, and we sat and talked. And he wanted to change his way of life, and he gave me guidance he didn't know he was guiding me, but he was telling me about the language that I used. It was the same with rabbis that I sat down and talked with. They had dinner in my home, and they told me that some of my language was hurtful to them. They didn't know it, but later I told this former chief rabbi, dean of the rabbis in Chicago.
So he's talking about homosexuality.
Mary runs a growing e-commerce apparel store on Shopify. She has a small
this title is a little bit misleading because it said he was going
Mary
to talk
is
a
able to
little
connect
bit
her online
about
store to AdRoll.
Well, it's not.
Then what he told me, I thought about it. I'm not interested in making white people enemies of ours. I'm not interested in stirring up hatred in you for me or for us, but I have to give you the message whether you hear or forbear. So I try now to be more careful in the way I speak, because it is not my desire to hurt your feelings, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, truth hurts, but it only hurts the guilty. And I remember Brother Malcolm one day when he was lecturing at a college, and the people started hissing the Caucasians against him. And he said, oh, that's what your father did in the garden. And he said, whenever a man throws a stone in a pack of dogs, the only one that hollers is the one that gets hit. And today, if I don't preach the truth to try to save your life, I will lose mine. And if I don't warn you of what the consequences are, and you continue in what you're doing with no desire even to change because you think you are living right. This enemy is a scientist of evil. He's studying bacteriology and chemistry in such a way that he can change you chemically to think you are what you are not. He's a wise Satan. That's who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with just common wicked man. You're dealing with the Satan, the God of this world. And he's after you, black man and woman, to take you down with him when he goes. Let me go on with that subject, because the strong black men are being asked by Hollywood to put on dresses. Strong black men are offered lots of money. I won't name the person, but the manager of a certain strong black man came to me and begged me, please talk to the one that I'm managing, for they have offered him $15 million to cross-dress, to dress like a woman in a movie, and I don't want him to do that. Could you talk with him? But the scripture says, money answereth all things. And so $15 million, a man will put on a dress in a heartbeat. Well, white people put on dresses too, but they're not after their own. They're after you. You remember Dave Chappelle? How he said that he was in his dressing room, and when he took a break and went back in his dressing room, there was a dress on the door, and he thought he was in the wrong place. And then a man came in and said, oh, we got a real funny scene. And it's around this dress. They put on the dress. Dave said, I'm not putting on the dress. That man went out, and then a higher ranking person came and told Dave, oh, Dave, it's just a short scene, but it is hilarious, and it will go over big in the audience. And Dave then said, I'm sorry, I don't want to put on a dress. Then the producer himself came and said, Dave, I mean, it's really a funny scene. Come on, Dave. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't put on that dress. And he said, when they left, they came back within a very short time. They had already written the real scene, but they wanted to get him to put on a dress, because what they're selling, black brother, is that they want you to be so wrapped up in what they're wrapped up in that you will stick your fingers in your ear when you hear the warning and the call of God. And when you do that, you will go down to hell with your enemies. Oh, my dear brothers and sisters, the enemy is
He's preaching
after you.
On stop.
This generation
What's
shall
that
not
called?
pass
Emasculating
before all
black
these
men.
things come to pass.
Taking away their masculinity.
As it is written in the scriptures,
and honor.
Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. But you're acting so weak that when you know he's leading you to something that you should not do, you don't resist because you want the fame, you want the money, you want the job, you want nearness to your enemies. Remember how Satan took Jesus up on a mountain and showed him all of the cities that he could have if only he would bow down to Satan. Mountain here means he takes you up to a high place because that's where you want to be.
About 2
in
more
sport,
minutes of
in
this,
play, in music, in science, in medicine. You want to be on the mountaintop. But the man that's taking you there is the God of this world. And as he said to Jesus, if you would bow down and worship me, you can have all of this. But Jesus had the strength to say to Satan, get thee behind me, Satan. And that is where Satan belongs. He doesn't belong in front of you, leading you. You need to put him not only behind you, but put him out of the equation altogether. God is present today. And if you really want to go up in strength and power and wealth and righteousness, remember, Satan only promises you to deceive you.
Yeah.
Man, look at that.
Is your life trash? Are you tired of the job and you know your life is trash? I'm trying to reverse your life with digital real estate. I did a free master class. You saw the testimonials. You read the testimonials. Why not get into the free mini course? A lot of y'all been asking me, what is digital real estate? I don't understand the concept of digital real estate. So I put together a comprehensive mini class for you to get access to for $0. All you got to do is text 214-884-4644, just the word digital. Nothing more, nothing less. Text digital to 214-884-4644, and you're going to get free access into the digital real estate class. See you on the other side.
I don't normally watch commercials, but gotta admit, that was kind of funny. All right, let's see what we got next. I see something loading that shouldn't be loading.
You're still looking for new traffic sources. It's time to try to...
Y'all ready for the potatoes?
Surprise, surprise. We have a lot of stimulus coming your way in today's fourth stimulus check update and daily news update. La Nina's coming. Now, what does this mean for winter weather in the U.S.? Better yet, what does this mean for more stimulus in our pockets? We'll answer that. And President Biden changed his mind. What's going to happen with the $3.5 trillion? Different Democrats are saying different things, so got to stick around and find out on this. Y'all ready for all this? Good, because we're giving it to you guys 24/7, 365. If you're into stimulus check updates, stimulus package updates, cryptocurrency, stock market updates, as well as learning how to make money online using your online business or anything that has to do with making money, definitely hit the subscribe button, tap that notification bell, that way you're notified as soon as I release new videos and content. And let's go ahead and jump in. La Nina is coming, guys, and it's a pretty big deal. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's, also known as the NOAA's Climate Prediction Center, announced on Thursday that La Nina conditions have developed and are expected to continue with an 87% chance that they will be in place from December to February. Weather-wise, this could mean hurricanes, tornadoes, and droughts. And brace yourself, guys. It's going to be a tough winter ahead. Now, it says here that the biggest impact of La Nina on North American rain, snow, and temperatures tends to be felt during the winter. Even worse, episodes of El Nino and La Nina typically last 9 to 12 months, but can stretch for years. They both tend to develop during the spring, reach peak intensity during the late fall or winter, and then weaken during the spring or summer. In other words, we can kind of pretty much expect La Nina's strongest period in time to be between January and March, but it could also linger into early spring. I hope you guys are keeping safe for the winter. Let us know how you're doing. Hit me up in the comments down below. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And you know what that means, guys. Stimulus could definitely be right around the corner here. Senator Bernie Sanders even said so himself.
The so-called 100-year flood is becoming more likely to happen every year. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but scientists from Princeton and MIT are now telling us that as global temperatures continue to rise, 100-year floods could become annual occurrences in parts of the United States. Our Republican colleagues have children, they have grandchildren, and how in God's name they can look those children and grandchildren in the eye and ignore the destructive forces of climate change and what kind of planet we're going to be leaving.
Big shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for the continued love and support. I appreciate it.
Nothing new. They have always taken place. But what is new is the frequency and the severity. And nobody now can doubt that that is caused by climate change. Everything being equal, unless we get our act together, the situation will become worse. But I don't need to remind you, you know better than I do, that just 13 years ago, the stage right here, this location, was 8 feet underwater. Cedar Rapids experienced what scientists call a 100-year flood. What we do in this bill is put hundreds of billions of dollars to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel. We put money into communities that are already suffering the brunt of climate change and what it means in terms of flooding and lack of electricity. This bill will be the largest single investment by far in American history in climate.
There's definitely some climate change stimulus that we could be looking forward to in this upcoming $2 to $3 trillion stimulus package. Now, one is the electric vehicle tax credit. You could get as much as $7,500 for that one. That is on top of all the state incentives and electric company rebates that you could also get as well. Really not a bad deal. But of course, not everybody's going to go out and buy an electric vehicle, right? I mean, not everybody's got Tesla money. I get it. But good news for you guys as well. There's also the weatherization stimulus that's already guaranteed in the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. Now, if it's anything like the local programs that we found, it's going to mean up to 50% of project costs, up to $4,000 in moderate income households, or up to $2,000 for higher income households. Now, we can even see rebates for air sealing and insulating the attic or the basement that could go as high as $1,000 for you guys. But let's see how this shapes up in the final bill. More details on that one too, guys. Always stay subscribed to the channel and have that notification bell turned on so you don't miss out on a single important update. Now, other important news of the day, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki is in hot water about a comment that she made in an official press briefing. Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, or CREW, filed a Hatch Act complaint against Psaki, saying that she appeared to have endorsed Terry McAuliffe, I probably ruined the name, during a White House press briefing on Thursday. Details are right here.
So Jen, you probably know this, but it just happened in the last few minutes that a watchdog group here in DC, CREW, which is generally, I would say, it would be fair to characterize them as left-leaning, that they filed a complaint against you. They allege that you endorsed Democratic gubernatorial candidate in Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, from the podium in the race yesterday. Here's what you said. Let's play that.
Look, I think the president, of course, wants former Governor McAuliffe to be the future governor of Virginia. We're going to do everything we can to help former Governor McAuliffe, and we believe in the agenda he's representing.
You also said in that quote that you had to be careful about how far you went, but CREW says you still went too far. Wanted to give you an opportunity to respond.
Well, I appreciate that, Jake, and I take ethics seriously. So does this president, of course. As I understand it, if I had said he instead of we, that would not have been an issue at all. And I'll be more careful with my words next time. Words certainly matter.
The law says that federal employees are prohibited from using their official titles or positions while engaged in political activity.
We're in the middle of a smoke session, but we're watching the news. So.
Did you know that you can make money on YouTube?
Yeah, they just announced that there's some things they could there's some things you could write off and get some rebates from the government, tax breaks, tax credits, things like that. Some things that have to relate with the city and the state, global warming, energy, going green, insulation, so many other things. So check out any type of city programs. You might want to Google city programs, resources. Definitely utilize the EDD website.
It's also great that she's accepting her own mistake. I kind of expected that from her. She seems like, she's not trying to hide a whole lot. Easy enough mistake to make, though. Even the CREW said it was nowhere near as extreme as those of her predecessors. Now, I'm glad they clarified things and Psaki can continue reporting on that stimulus for us, because that's what we're all about, right, guys? Now, speaking of, here's the latest on the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. Big headline: we're not going to get the $3.5 trillion.
We're not going to get $3.5 trillion. We'll get less than that, but we're going to get it. And we're going to come back and get the rest.
President Biden admitted that congressional Democrats weren't going to get the full $3.5 trillion social spending bill that was outlined earlier this summer. This is the first time that he's publicly acknowledged that the price tag needed to be cut in the face of resistance from a small but potent group of centrists in the party. So how big is it going to be now, right? Well, Biden privately floated a $2 trillion price tag as a possible compromise. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki shared that the negotiations are in a messy phase, and that both centrists are shaking their peacock feathers while arguing for what they think is most important. She went on to say it's not going to be everything that Joe Biden wants. It's not going to be everything that Joe Manchin or Kirsten Sinema wants, or Pramila Jayapal, or any member of Congress. It's ultimately a compromise, and you try to get the best package possible. Now, of course, we're not losing all hope just yet. Now, for those who are listening closely, Biden did add a little something to his concessions. We'll get less than that, but we're going to get it, and we're going to come back and get the rest. Big words there. Now, this definitely confirms what we've been talking about in our previous video, guys. It looks like they're planning a 5th stimulus package right after this one. Now, we have definitely heard the same thing coming from House Democrats. Looking forward to more details about that in our coming videos. Be sure to drop a quick comment down below, and let me know if you think that they should include a 5th stimulus package. Definitely top of my list would be more stimulus checks, right, guys? Now, it's very good to get some perspective here. That's what Representative Ro Khanna thinks.
I'd rather we do all of the president's vision, that we give people childcare so they can get back to work, that we make sure that every kid can have preschool, that we make sure our seniors can afford to go to a dentist or get eyeglasses. But if this president says, look, we have to have certain compromises, we have to be flexible, we have to realize that this will be a transformational agenda, let's get it done. One thing, Chris, I think we have to ask a very threshold question. Are we better off today than we were 1 year ago? Let's just remember 1 year ago where we were. We had no control over this pandemic. People couldn't go to football games. We had unemployment at 7%. Now we have 200 million Americans vaccinated. We have this pandemic under control. It's going to get better after Delta. We have unemployment at 5% and in the right direction. People are back at football games. It's not perfect. There have been mistakes, but we're a year into it, and this president has made life better.
Now, I have to admit, guys, we're overall doing okay so far for Biden's first year in the White House. Now, that's not to say that things could not be better, though. Vice President Kamala Harris pointed out herself.
Here's some statistics, which I think many of us know. 80% of private sector workers do not have paid leave. 80%. So this is a big issue, especially when, to the point that the senator made and you've made, Stephanie, that at some point in everyone's life, you will need to take time off from work.
Now, Harris is another one to watch. Now, I still remember her time as a senator when she strongly endorsed recurring stimulus checks for the American people. According to her, second stimulus checks should be $2,000 per month. Wow, sign me up for that one. Matter of fact, sign me up for that one twice. But here's what she said back then. I'm proposing that we have not just that one-time check of $1,200. Through the course of the pandemic and crisis, we need to give people $2,000 a month as recurring payments. People below a certain income level to help them and sustain them.
We're trying to find out about the stimulus
so that at the end of it, they can get back up on their feet instead of falling deep into the crevices of this crisis. And it does not make any sense, to your point, when we have Republicans in Congress who are standing in the way of supporting working people who have recently lost their jobs and have every intention of working when we get through this crisis, and they just need help from their government. Now, if you notice the way she described the current situation back then, it really isn't too far off from how things are right now. So what am I saying here? Don't just count that fourth stimulus check out quite yet. We've seen it happen before. Flashback to December last year, the second stimulus check was nowhere in sight. Other channels were giving up, but we were not. We were still seeing things in a very positive light. Well, look at how that turned out. We got a second stimulus check after all, even a third stimulus check right after that. So as long as we're seeing the signs here, guys, we're going to keep at it. I'll make sure to give you guys the latest and most accurate stimulus updates, timelines, and developments each and every single day. And that includes today, right? Right now, another one of our stimulus fronts is heating up. I'm talking about the student loan forgiveness. In the midst of all the stimulus things.
Y'all gonna have to find out about student loans on your own time because I ain't got none of those. But they said basically maybe talks of a fourth and fifth stimulus check package. I'm really pushing and really hoping that y'all sign the petition. You just got to have first and last name and an email at change.org for the $2,000 stimulus check. Also, the Justice for the Say Their Names hashtags, Justice for George Floyd, Justice for Ahmaud Arbery, Justice for Breonna Taylor, Justice for Vanessa Gillen, Justice for Elijah McClain, Justice for Ma'Khia Bryant and Adam Toledo. Y'all, those petitions are very important for the civil rights revolution, progress for protection for victims of police brutality and minorities and minors as well, unarmed victims. Y'all, also, vote.org to register to vote, vote on legalizing businesses, business licensing, after school programs, community programs, homeless shelters, public housing, public transportation, free healthcare clinics, politicians running for office, and propositions being written into bills and laws. Yeah, please do register to vote. Find out when you can vote next in your city. With that being said, we gave Facebook and YouTube almost an hour. Thank y'all for being here. You're beautiful. Your soul is beautiful. Your energy is positive. You're important to me, your community, your family, and your friends, and I love y'all. Thank y'all for making me a top streamer. Thank y'all for my money. Wild roller coaster ride. Trying to make it as independent business persons, tax-paying Americans. Networking, promotion. Y'all make sure you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Follow those brands and businesses that we support or that support us, or just some links and some businesses and some artists that I believe y'all should support. So please go check us out on YouTube. All of that.